All right, now to get the taste of Sheila Jackson Lee out of my mouth, I want to move on to my favorite part of the show, gun talk. And today I want to talk about co-witnessing a red dot on a pistol. I have spoken about this many times in the past, and it seems a lot of people are still confused about what a true co-witness is and why we should do it. People are like, well, why do you need a co-witness if you've got a red dot? Or, well, can't I just co-witness with the front sight? Why do you say I need a rear sight? Well, there's reasons for all this. I like to have a total backup on my red dot sight because I like technology. I like things like red dots. But just because I like technology and I'm a hip old geezer doesn't mean I trust it, and definitely doesn't mean I understand it, but I definitely don't trust it either. So I want to still have a fully functional set of sights if something happens to that red dot. When you co-witness, you're co-witnessing two separate functioning sets of sights to hit the same spot. And if one fails, you can use the other. Usually, in this case, the one that would fail would be the red dot. So that's why I say I need to have a full co-witness and I need to have a rear sight. But some people, like I said, don't seem to understand that. They're like, well, can't I just co-witness with the front sight? Well, you can, but that's not a true co-witness. It is a co-witness of sort, but if the red dot fails, the front sight is useless, because it's working in conjunction with the red dot, not independently of the red dot, like it would if you had a rear sight. And I decided the best way to illustrate this is to come up with some little drawings here and show everybody what I mean. So if you're looking through the back window of your RMR, your red dot, whatever it is, and you can see your front sight up there, you can co-witness this. You can co-witness the red dot with your front sight. And after you do this, if you hold your gun perfectly in alignment, and to where the red dot and the front sight line up, you'll hit right where the red dot and the front iron sights tell you you're going to hit every time. And then if you move the sights off target to where you don't have your gun properly aligned, well, the red dot, that's where it comes into play. It'll actually stay with the target. It won't stay with your front sight. And you'll still hit where that red dot is. That's what the red dots are great for. They are easy to follow. You don't have to line them up with anything. The dot is all you have to look at. It follows the target. And in this case, it'll follow the target. You'll hit where you're shooting at. But let's say you've got that red dot co-witnessed with just a front sight. You go off target with that front sight, and then tragedy strikes. The red dot battery dies. Well, now you're screwed. You don't know where you're going to hit. You can try to bring your front sight back into proper alignment in the window, but you don't have a reference point. So if you're off a little bit, well, you're not going to be hitting where you aim, and that's not a good thing. So just co-witnessing with the front sight is not a true co-witness, because if one sight goes dead, the other one is now non-functional. Whereas if you have a rear sight and a front sight, and then you co-witness your red dot with it, it'll function just like it did when you co-witnessed with the front sight. It'll hit right on. Wherever you're pointing those things at, that's where you'll hit. And then once again, if you move your gun out of alignment, in this case, move your sights out of alignment, the red dot will still follow the target and you'll still know where you're hitting. But here's where it gets different. If you take your sights off target and then the red dot dies once again, now you're not left guessing. You can simply bring the front sight back into alignment with the rear sight. You have a fully functioning set of backup sights. You don't need the red dot for the front sight to work because you have a rear sight. That's when you have a true co-witness. When you have a set of iron sights that can function on their own and a red dot sight that can function on its own. You can use them in unison and co-witness them together, but if that one sight goes dead, you have to be able to have a witness with the backup sights. You have to be able to have a proper alignment without any help from the sight that went dead. That's a proper co-witness, and that's why I think it's important, so that you know where you're hitting if your red dot goes dead. So if you look at it like that, it's pretty simple. It's just basically having two sets of sights. The technological sights, the red dot, that follow the target wherever you want to go, and that front and rear sight in case that technology fails you and you can shoot the old-fashioned way simply by lining up your backup sights.